getting this funding will help us greatly in that. And with that, I'll turn it over to Congressman.
You sure can.
I'm sorry, because what I forgot to say is, I'm so sorry, is that many times Buena Vista is overlooked for funding opportunities. So again, we appreciate the Congresswoman so much. She never forgets about Buena Vista. So again, we appreciate you and your team for being here and seeing the needs of this township. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. So before we open it for questions, I want to just do a little bit of real talk. So the reality is that the federal government has abandoned our local communities for decades. You can see when you drove into this wastewater treatment facility, giant potholes in the roads. I actually was in Joe's office before we all came. He is using a computer that runs on a floppy disk to run this facility. Now, let me tell you, he is doing an amazing job, but they are creating small hacks from total ingenuity to keep this infrastructure running. And it shouldn't be that way. As a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, it is my top priority to actually surge money into our local communities, starting first with clean water infrastructure. But we also need to pay attention to our roads and our bridges, places that our local municipalities have been left to bear the financial burden that they simply don't have the budgets to make happen. So we're going to start here in making sure that people's basements stay dry, that our watershed stays clean, and that people like Joe and Tori have the ability to deliver for their communities. So with that, I'll take some questions. Yeah, so we are, the total request is in the millions. It's not in the billions. What's astounding to me is that the amount of dollars, we're working in partnership with communities to say, okay, what do you really need to make this happen? It, compared to other things in the federal budget, it is minuscule. So the project here in Buena Vista is less than $1 million. Less than $1 million, right? So this isn't a big ask. These are the very core services that people rely on government to deliver, and we need to be able to help our local communities fulfill that promise.
That, the water crisis, that we're still, having to fight the funds for, you mentioned to keep production going.
It absolutely is mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling, and it shouldn't be a competition. Like, these are competitive funds, and it should not be that way. Honestly, you feel like municipalities should just be provided with federal funding to assist with whatever major projects that they have going on. And so, again, we hope that this gets passed. We have no idea if it will, but we just appreciate the opportunity to apply for the funds because it's necessary and it's needed. So we're running off a SCADA system that uses a floppy disk, but it's working for now, but we definitely are in need of the money. So, sorry.
Yeah, we're good.
What help could the community face if these upgrades don't happen?
That's a great question. First, I want to loop back a little bit to the previous issue. So this request we've been fighting for in Washington, and have managed to get it across a really important finish line, meaning it's in the budget, right? But now what we need is for the Republicans in Congress to pass a budget. So it is dependent on a lot of politics, and there is a lot of silliness happening in Washington. I'm focused on the roll your sleeves up, kind of get work done for the district, as opposed to a lot of political drama. But if we're going to take this to a political fight and do what Congress often does by kicking the ball down the road and not passing a budget, then projects like this are what will be in jeopardy. From a health perspective, I think it's really important. We've talked about the aging infrastructure and the way that this is come together. Right now, this plant is doing its job. Joe and his team are doing amazing work to make sure that we don't get contaminants in the watershed, that things that are kicked downstream are safe and healthy for the community. But the question is, for how long? So the impact on what would happen when wastewater treatment facilities fail is enormous, and we need to get ahead of this before we see failure.
As you are right now, without disrupting anything.
That's a tough question to answer. Like, how long? We're on borrowed time. That if something does fail, what we have to replace or find is already obsolete. It's been obsolete for 20 years, most of this stuff. And so it's not repairing, it's now you're replacing at the last second, you know, which could delay trying to find, you know, bid processes and funding for that. So it would be hectic. We wouldn't be able to recover in time. We would be risking putting untreated water out in the system, out in the river. So.
And things that you were, can you just in a quick nutshell review specifically the areas that these funds would be addressing and how?
Well, you brought up the SCADA system that would help control this facility automatically. We don't have somebody staffed here 24 hours a day. It was just 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then weekend coverage. So that's providing liability that the system's going to operate correctly when nobody's here. That's one of them. The reliability in some of the equipment, the VFDs, where we just have one. If I lose that VFD, I'm now down about 50% of my pumping capacity or ability. So having those installed in those processes, again, provides dependability and reliability for the system.
So can you give like an estimate of how many people would be affected if the system failed?
Oh, do you want to take that?
Yeah, if you would like to speak to the population of the township, we're at about 8,800 in the township, and that does not include, that's residential. It does not include our commercial or businesses here.
And then it
So
flows through the watershed, right?
yeah, absolutely. That's here in Buena Vista, but our system is connected to the city of Saginaw, which connects to other municipalities. So it could be enormous because they're all connected.
At this time of year, we usually treat about 1 million
Hey,
gallons.
Joe, you got to
a
be
day.
right
Oh,
here.
sorry. At this time of year, we usually treat about 1 million gallons a day. So it's roughly, they provide about 1 million. Yeah.
Right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Guys, appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thanks
Oh,
so
yeah.
much.
Whose
Yeah.
is this?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
just want fan. Get out of here. Oh my